those missions where you think that you know where you're going, but you're not entirely sure? That's me right now. I am out at this campground and I saw the sign saying that there were like 3 campsites in this direction. 2 of them were taken, haven't found the 3rd. The road just keeps going and going and going, and it's very interesting. And this isn't one of those roads that you go on fast. So it's like the never-ending pursuit. And I think I just found the 3rd campsite, and it looks like it is taken. Woo, just a little heads up. I am not here on a busy time of year. Mind you, where I am is extremely beautiful, very vast, but this is one of the only places that I have ever been in forest lands that have signs everywhere saying you cannot camp here, you cannot camp here, you cannot camp here. And the spaces are huge, so they're very far spread apart. Now, I am kind of curious as to how some of these people got down here though, because the roads are very narrow and yet they're in these huge rigs. So I don't know, but we're gonna keep looking. This is our last hope down this path right here. Yep, we're gonna hope that we can find this. Guys, it looks like this is actually going to be the end of the line for us, because see this boulder right here? This isn't so bad. We could just go over this. But do you see that one up there? And I kind of looked ahead. It does not get better. In fact, there's a drop off right beyond this ridge that just goes dunk. So I guess we're going to have to find a different site. So why am I sharing this with you today? Why? If we're not going to stay here, why am I sharing this? This is unfortunately how it goes sometimes. You find something that looks really, really good on one of your sites and you're kind of scrolling through and you're like, yes, I want to stay there. And then you come out to it, and in reality, even though it's not the busy time, it's not a weekend, and it's a decent time of day to come and snag one, this is what we end up with. So this is a lesson today, guys. This is a lesson. We are going to move on. We're going to find a place to stay, but we're going to take note that not always does it work out in van life. And that's okay. It's part of it. That's why a lot of people will start searching very early in the day for their campsite, and then they'll detach and then go out and do whatever. Now with the van, we don't really have the option to do that unless we leave like a toilet tent or something like that behind. So, you know, the give and the take. We're still learning. We'll figure it out. But for now, let's go find a campsite. Now the interesting question is, how far can we back down before we can actually turn around now? Oh, the fun. Now the nice thing is the backup camera does come in handy with this, but boulders are not the same going forward as they are going backwards. So I'm gonna focus on this now. Oh, backup camera, don't fail me now, don't fail me now, don't fail me now. Backup camera, don't fail me now. We just need to find a clearing. Let's see. Avoid that. Oh yeah, I got it in a straight line again. This is a narrow path. Yeah, here we go. Okay, we finally made it, and right over there, that's where we backed out. We backed out probably about a half a mile. That's a lot of backing. So now we're gonna go straight forward again and try to see how to get out of here, I guess. Interesting trip down. Whenever you're going camping or whenever you're going to go do boondocking or something like that, the hard part isn't finding a spot on a map. The hard part is finding a spot that isn't taken. And I think that that's one of the things that as you kind of start exploring around, you start kind of learning, okay, I need to have a plan, then I need to have a backup plan. And that's kind of what we're doing right now, is we're looking and just making sure we didn't miss anything along the way. But yeah, we're looking for that backup plan. And if worse comes to worse, we'll move forward a little further than we thought we were going to, and that's no big deal. But you can't get discouraged just because something doesn't work out exactly how you wanted it to. So maybe that's the moral of today's story. We're back on the main bumpy road, going toward the less bumpy road. Very interesting experience. There are a couple of trailheads out here, but they do have posted no camping, so otherwise I would just pull into one of those, no big deal. But you know, we try to follow the rules. That's kind of what keeps the public lands public, so that we can keep coming back to them. So let's see what we can find. See, this is much better, but still bumpy. Okay, we are now in pursuit of another campground. This one is actually a paid campground, so worst comes to worst, you can always usually find a paid campground. We will see though, it is a Sunday evening whenever I'm looking, so cross your fingers, guys. Now, a lot of times you don't get to see this part in videos because most of the time people don't want you to see that they had to kind of troubleshoot to find where they were going to stay, but I always try to include the good and the bad on the channel, so this is reality. If you want to be doing what I do, sometimes it takes a little bit of work just to find kind of where you want to stay. So I definitely encourage you not to get discouraged if when you come out, especially in a popular state like Colorado, you don't hit it just on the first time. Sometimes you have to look around a little bit more. And again, earlier in the day is usually better, but I have been busy all day. So this is the result. I kind of expected this much, at least somewhat. So now we're back to looking. That was actually really cool. The colors that we just passed by, those were skis. Each individual one was a ski. That's kind of cool. So if nothing else, we're getting to see some really neat stuff with these beautiful views. This looks promising. Now this next campsite that we're gonna check out, I actually found on the dirt. So if it works out, that's where I found it. Okay, we're about half a mile from our turn and a mile from our campsite. And as you can see, the road is changed again. It's rough, but not as rough as it was at that other spot. And yeah, we're getting closer to the mountains, and this spot is actually going to be a state park. So we're about to find out if this state park has an opening. Again, this is a Sunday evening late. Typically crowds do clear out of the state parks on, you know, Sunday evenings, but I don't know, it's Colorado, so it keeps me guessing. Turn left onto. Here is the official entrance to Reverend's Ridge Campground. Again, I found this on the dirt, so let's go check it out. Now it does say they're by reservation only, so we're gonna drive in, see if there's anything available, and if there is, then we will go online and reserve it. Okay, adventurers, a new impasse. So I got to the campsite. There are visually campsites available. However, Colorado only books through Reserve America. I talked to a ranger. He said that there are sites available to contact Reserve America. I did. Reserve America said there's no sites available. So I asked what I'm supposed to do, and he said there's nothing they can do about it. Reserve America. That's the only thing that they have to say. So what I am going to do is I met some really nice people here, and they offered to let me stay in their site. However, the ranger is still here, and he said I can't do that. So super fun. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull up our app and see what else is available. If worse comes to worse, we can always move around. But these are some of the challenges that we realistically face as we travel around. So I've never liked Reserve America, by the way. Every time I have been forced to use Reserve America to do a state park, not a national park, there have been some weird moments because they don't physically see the same thing that you see whenever you're at a campsite. In California, I had the same thing happen early on in my channel, actually. And you may have seen an episode when Pam and I had gone out to the coast, and they told us that the campsite is right on the beach. The campsite was miles away from the beach, by the way. Just gonna put that out there. But anyway, we're gonna go back and consult our app, and then we're gonna keep it moving, because that's what we do here on the channel. Okay, we're en route to a backup plan, and it's always fun to have a backup plan. Now this is probably the least desirable of all the spots, but it does say, according to the website that I was looking on, which is Allstays, that there is a Walmart in Evergreen, Colorado that does not mind if you park in their parking lot. Now, a couple things. On the way there, we're gonna keep our eyes out to see if there's anything available. The ranger that I spoke to, he said that he didn't know if there would be or not, but we'll keep looking. And then also, whenever we get to the Walmart, we're also going to do some more looking to see if we see any vans or RVs. If we don't, we're not gonna stay. And there is a reason for that. Even though the review from July 2021 actually says someone stayed there multiple days in an RV, I've learned that here in Colorado, things change from week to week when it comes to the Walmarts and what they allow and do not allow. So if we are the only ones there, we are more likely to get that weird knock that we want to avoid. So we'll be checking and seeing, and who knows, maybe it'll work out. One thing I do know is that we need to get this van cleaned off sometime tomorrow. So tomorrow we might be doing a little bit of van maintenance, just a little bit. Now there is a bonus if we do stay at Walmart, and it's kind of like one of those little hidden things. I need to get my oil changed, and if we are already there, we can be first in line tomorrow to get that oil changed. So that could actually be real good. Otherwise, I'd probably be scrambling a little bit harder to find a side kind of further away from town. But if we do stay at the Walmart, we won't be able to cook, so we'll have to pick up some food. But you know, it does have that bonus of the oil change. I'm going through a place called Blackhawk, and this might actually be a place that we come back and visit. I'm not sure. It's a really cute town. I would have never known this had I not had to be searching out another site to camp. So I'm gonna kind of look this place up once I get to a stopping point and see what all it has. Now I'm only about 18 miles away from Evergreen, so if it's this close, we may just come back tomorrow. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Look at that up on the hill though. This is actually their historic district, and that is a mining area, and then tons of casinos here, which is kind of fascinating. Really old houses. It's just a neat looking place just in general. And again, I'm really sorry about the windshield. It's kind of dirty, but you know, we've been out in it today. Oh wow, here's another really old building. This is just a neat place. Just a super neat place. Although I am really confused now because I just passed a sign that said I was in Blackhawk, and then I passed another sign that said I was in Central City. So I've never explored here. I don't know. Definitely gonna have to look this up. This looks like we're getting into a little bit more modern area that has newer casinos versus the older buildings, but again, I have no idea. Very, very interesting though. Again, newer buildings. Yeah, still themed like the older buildings though. So maybe they're older? I don't know. Oh wow though, that is cool. There's a train over there. We're just following the map trying to figure out where exactly this is taking us. Wow, there is a lot to do here. This is really cool. Actually kind of looks like a movie set. I mean, look at this. You have super old buildings next to new buildings, all sorts of different kinds of architecture. Just really, really neat. And yeah, it's just really cool. I definitely need to figure out a little bit more about this place. Okay, now we're on something called Central City Parkway. And you know, sometimes things don't work out for a reason. It's so that you can have to explore something that otherwise you might not have. And I think that's kind of what we're doing right now. We're just kind of exploring. It's a weird time, so there's not as many people out. It's in the evening, not as much traffic, so we can go a little slower. And as we're climbing back into the mountain, there's actually a mine that goes in one direction. That you can go like that way to get to a mine. I mean, that's kind of cool. But we're going this way. I can only assume this place has some crazy stories though. I mean, just look at the coloration of the rocks over to the side. It just looks like they're coated in minerals. And then as we keep climbing over to the left, you see some really modern either apartments or hotels, I'm not sure. But yeah, we're back on the road. And it only gets better. I'm looking over as I'm kind of seeing to the right and the left, and I have to stop. I have to stop and show you this. Look at this. This is amazing. Yeah, so we would have never seen this had we have not needed to find a new place to stay. I mean, like, what? This is so cool. We're right off to the side of the highway here, and we would have never noticed this had we have just stayed at the other place because we were going to go in a different direction. But sometimes life just works out. So even if we don't come back on this series of adventures, this is going on my bucket list because I got to find out more. I just have to. Now in that direction, I hear some pretty gnarly coyotes though. So let's get back in the van. You know that saying, life is what happens when you stop making plans? Yeah, that's kind of how I feel right now. It's absolutely just unfolding in front of us with all these beautiful views. The sun is setting. I discovered something new. And even though we didn't get to stay at the campsites that we initially started out at, we know what they look like now. We kind of have an idea as to what to expect if we do want to stay there next time. And you know, you can take a situation that normally is just a nasty negative thing where you're like, I didn't get the site that I wanted, and you can stew in it, you can be upset, or you can just kind of roll with it and then find new things. And I think that that's what's so great about van life and what I do is I kind of try to take my time. You know, when I first started out, this would have been a big bummer to me because I would have been like, no, I planned something and it didn't work out. But the more that you allow yourself just to kind of go with it, the better results you end up with. And even if we do end up at like a Walmart tonight, we've had an adventure today just in search of this campsite. But meanwhile, this thing is confused. It has no idea where we are right now. We haven't had any signal for a few minutes because we've been going through the mountains and it's just trying to reroute us. But as long as we stick to the blue line, we are good. I mean, the one benefit to planning is that you can download the offline map, but that wasn't the case today, so it is what it is. Do you see what I see? Central City thanks you. Which would imply that all of what we just traveled through was Central City. Again, I have no idea, so we're gonna be looking it up. But right now we're actually getting on one of the main veins through Colorado. We are getting on I-70, which runs from side to side, end to end. And we're gonna be merging into some traffic and trying to get to Evergreen. Okay, we made it to the Walmart and I'm kind of looking around. Now, I want to show you a couple things. Over here, this guy definitely has his shades up and everything. He's parked kind of toward the back of the parking lot. And then over here, we have a truck at the very, very back. Oh, we're not finished. Let's go drive around a little bit more to make sure. Okay, there's actually two trucks back here. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. They're both Walmart trucks, so, you know, that kind of sometimes can be deceiving. But let's go over to this side of the parking lot. And there's a couple of people that are parked kind of far back here. I don't see any window shades on them, but this one definitely looks like a traveler too. Now, my next question is, do they have an auto center? I'm gonna go and look around to see if they do. And if they do, then this will definitely be helpful to us. But again, we have to weigh this out. Now on this side, I don't see an auto center. So let's go to the other side. Okay, let's see back here. Is this an auto center? It looks like it could be. And there is another van over here actually. So that is a very good sign. Okay, let's look. Yes, that is definitely an auto center, so we can get our oil changed here first thing. Guys, this used to be a lot easier because it used to be that Walmarts would stay open 24 hours a day, so you always had a constant flow of traffic, so it wasn't that big of a deal to stay at a Walmart. However, now you really have to look to make sure it's a Walmart that accepts vans or RVs, so keep that in mind. I am going to go ahead and stay here though, I think. After kind of surveying, there's a couple more vans over here. There's another truck like over here, and it looks good all in all. I need to find out what time the auto center opens up so I can be first in line, and then also we need to go get some food before we kind of find our spot. So we found a spot. It was an adventure to get here, but we found a spot. Good morning, adventurers. Yep, we slept super good here at the Walmart. Now I ended up parking out by the auto center, and they're open now, so I'm about to go over there and see if they can't get me maintenance. It looks like they have one person who was in line somehow magically before me, not sure. So right now I'm just cleaning up everything, getting my trash ready to take out after we head out, and trying to stay warm. It's a little chilly out here today, but all in all, super good night's sleep. Now I will say this, last night, whenever I pulled in, I did try to keep it to a minimum on the amount of time I had my lights on, just to not draw attention to myself. I do encourage you to do that. I did see a van who was over here who actually had their doors open, music blazing, but I try not to do that. So try to be a little bit more stealthy if you're in somebody's parking lot. Just trust me on that. Anyway, so let's talk about some things that are coming up. I organized everything here, but as you can see, it's a little bit clutterbug looking right now, and I don't like that. So I think one of the things that I'm going to be doing soon is taking out all of this stuff and figuring out how I can reorganize it. I do like the fact that I can put things over it, and again, it's nothing exciting. It's just like my little tablecloth / sun blanket, my towels. This has baby wipes, travel brochures, my jackets, shoes, and then I cover it usually at night, but I don't like how much space this is taking up, so this might be something that we change. Now this is something that I do not like how it looks whatsoever. So I love my curtain. It's wonderful, and I've been using the clips, and it's very nice. I just, in the nighttime, just drape this over the front seat. But during the daytime, I decided I like to have this closed because it keeps this part of the van a little bit more cool. The problem with that is it has this extra flap because this flap actually extends over to my door at nighttime so that you can't see light, and then I put a magnet up against it. So during the day, I just have this extra weird flap, and I put a clamp on it because otherwise it hangs out to like here. So I gotta figure this out. This is really kind of bothering me. Otherwise, I just have a few things that need to find a place because I purchased them along the way. That's the thing about whenever you're traveling and you add things to the space, make sure you have a space for them. I did pick up like this extra fleece. I picked up an extra jacket because I needed a lightweight option. I do have my bigger jacket over here, but it's a little too heavy. So I had to get these things. It wasn't like I was just shopping for fun, but at the same time, now I have to kind of figure out how they best fit in the space. So that's going to be another mission for another campground because what have I said before? Campgrounds are for projects. But I think that they're finishing up over here. Let's see if we can get the oil changed. Now, several of you have asked me if I feel uncomfortable just basically giving them my house. And typically I would say, no, I don't really worry about that. But one of the things that I do whenever I'm doing this prep step of cleaning up is I put all my electronics together and then I carry them with me. So there's not any of my higher ticket items in the van whenever I actually pull into the lube shop. It's not that I don't trust Walmart or anybody on the road. It's just, you know, better safe than sorry always. Okay, here we are. Let's find a spot and find their door. I think it's up there. There it is. Okay, here we go. Now, needless to say, since we're taking in our electronics, this is not the lightest trip into Walmart, but that's okay because it's about peace of mind, not convenience. We're not shopping right now. We're just going to get the oil changed. If we need something from Walmart after the oil's changed, we'll go to the front, park, and then go get our stuff. So, yeah, it's mainly about just making you feel better that somebody's in your house. Okay, guys, so we have given her our keys. And also, just for those who are kind of concerned, you can also sit inside most Walmarts and actually see the bay so that you can see where your vehicle is. Now, she did say it could be anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes, so we're gonna just kind of keep an eye on it. And in the meantime, we have this nice area with Wi-Fi to work. Guys, that's super convenient. So all we have to do is just kind of hang out. And so I think what I'm gonna do is tap into the Wi-Fi, check some emails, maybe respond to some of your comments. And then Dimples will be in here in a minute. And then we'll be good to go and off on to our next adventure. Okay, there it is, guys. Dimples is in the shop now so she can get her oil changed. Okay, guys, it's finished. We're about to pay and move on. Okay, adventurers, that's it. We got our oil changed. I did go ahead and pick up a few supplies. We got some butane and some more little ready-to-eat meals. And I got something to fix this. This is what happens whenever we get prolonged sun exposure being so pale. It just kind of happens that way. So I wanted to go ahead and share this experience with you. If you have enjoyed coming along with me to see how I find campsites and how sometimes things don't work out, but how they end up turning into a hidden blessing, make sure that you hit a like, subscribe, and check out my future content. I have tons of cool things coming up, including the 2 episodes, which will be happening today. Super excited about those, but we're gonna keep them on the hush hush until you see them. You won't find a preview for them on Instagram or anything. So until next time, guys, bye.